Faleye. I'm a lawyer, I'm a trained mediator, and I'm a peace builder. I've been involved in girl-child work for about 3 years now, and I've been a mediator for about 4 years. I've worked in communities.
I run a digital agency to work with websites and helping people build their businesses. But I'm also involved in tech concerning women and young girls. So that's what I do.
My take is the girl child has a lot of challenges. Peace in the girl child is enormous, and she needs a lot of lifeline for her to be able to reach the potential that is already inside of her. And she can't just walk all by herself. She needs other people in front, at the back, right, center, that will help her to see the goodness already in her and for her to be able to reach that point. The challenges are enormous, as I said earlier on. They move from emotional to physical to family orientation and to environment issues, especially in our own society. When I mean emotional, some of them they have to undergo a lot of changes, either from their family line, because family father is divorced or mother is divorced, or in fact they lost one parent along the line, and they have to start either of the parents has to start struggling to maintain the family. The girl child, because of the emotional aspect of it, they easily get involved in all the traumas that are associated with this. That is one side. Some of them are emotionally disturbed because they either have been raped by people they know, family, friends. A girl that I know that was impregnated 4 times by her father. So you can imagine the kind of turbulent thoughts that will be going on inside her, the kind of fights she will be having, because she could not contain it again. She had to come out and talk about it. So many of them do not have anywhere they can discuss these issues. They don't have people they can actually open up to, because they want their secrets to be in the open. They are so ashamed of what they are going through, even though it's not their own fault. They are so ashamed. The society has made them to be so ashamed of who they are. Because of that, the girl child cannot reach, that kind of girl cannot go far. They can't reach who they are because they need to rebuild themselves. Then another challenge that we see is that many of them go into marriage without even realizing who they are, without discovering who they are, what they are made of. And they go into marriages, settle, and start having children. So if you can't understand yourself, how do you train a child? How do you bring up the child? What do you deposit in that child? How do you ensure the child does not go through the circle you are going through? So those are things. This kind of people need an anchor. They need somebody, somewhere, a society that can listen to them, that can help them to discover this and let them be able to find their fruit and find their way out of it. Sometimes women, the girl child has grown to be the woman, and then the woman discover in her 30s that she's actually more than this, and before you know it, crisis starts in the home. The man might see that she's been rebellious, she's been she's untamed, she's becoming feminist. Do you understand? Just discover what is in her, what she can achieve, and she wants to go after it. She wants to satisfy that desire, just like the man has satisfied his own to discover it. But because we are in a patriarchal society, we find out that if you do this, they will see you like this. If you do this, they will discover you like this. You are wayward, you are this, you are uncultured. And so the girl child has been tamed right from when they are little. Because the system has systematically controlled their circle of life, their thoughts, their way of thinking, their way they take it. So we continue to go and go and go until we can't take anymore. That's
a girl child. It's quite tricky for the girl, coming up. There's the expectation and non-expectation of society. Expectation, how We expect them, especially as the way life is going. People have so much accomplishments out there, so much women doing great things, and especially in a society like Nigeria, parental pressure. Everybody wants their child to be okay so that they can take care of them later. So you set up, you want them to do this, to be a doctor, to be a top tech person. But at the same time, there's a non-expectation. Oh, you can't reach above this certain thing. This is not a girl thing, especially in the tech space. Oh, tech is not cut out for women, you understand? And you find out that they don't have so much mentors. But then there's a pressure to be successful. Then how do you balance all of this? The same parents that will say, oh, they give them that expectation. I expect you to be so good at this. I expect you to do this. I expect you to be a medical doctor or whatever tomorrow, but they are not giving the equipment. They are not equipped for it. You see a place, there was a survey I read recently concerning tech, not even here in the Western world, about how they go to boot camps. They are tech boot camps for people to learn how to code. Most parents, the parent brought their child, brought the male child and the female child. The female child was even older than the male child. Brought the male child for tech. And what did not, it was the lady registering that said, what about the girl? There's no expectation that the girl can do that. But statistics have gone and have proven that women can do so much more. But then the expectation is still there. That we're talking about career-wise now, building into that. Then we're talking about the emotional aspect. You find out that most of these girl children do not have the support. Even within the homes, there are some things that are still not talked about. There's a culture of silence that's there. Most women go into these marriages or whatever ill-equipped for it. Then how do they balance their career? How do they, and in most homes, the last generation, some of these women, their mothers did not have the path that they are going to have. So they don't even have the experiences to try and educate these children what they are going into. And most of the times, women are not taught to be all that they are, so that whoever they are coming to, whoever they are going to get married to, will know that this is who I am. You understand? Okay, you have to hide the ambitious part of it. You have to hide the tough part of it and be feminine. Then you get into the marriage and 4 or 5 years into, like my friend said, you find out, oh, she's being aggressive. She's being too assertive. She's being that. But the woman is just realizing, you are growing, you are changing. Career-wise, you are developing. Maybe the woman may take 5 years of her time to raise up her children. But by the 5th year, she's ready, to go on to other things. But that's when you find out there are now issues in the home. Like I was saying, the expectation and the non-expectation. Okay, I want you to be all you can be. But then, don't go too far. You have to check how far you go and all, so you can still be a woman and all of that. There's so much expectation for the girl child.
Well, from my perspective, I see that a lot of the changes, there's this unwritten code in every society that the girl child, there are some careers, there are some things that you can do, that it's an unwritten code, but it's there in the society.
Yes.
And unconsciously, it's part of us as we grow. Unconsciously, we are also dishing it to the ones that are coming, and it's part of them. So what we have to do as women, as mothers, as sisters, is that we have to consciously, with all determination, be ready to shift focus of the girl child to the fact that you can also be president, not the first lady, and the man can be the first man and not the president. So we have to consciously make efforts to let them see what they can achieve. For the fact that you are going to achieve this does not mean that you can't have your goal. It does not mean that you can't raise your children. It does not mean that you can't love your man. But what it means is that the man has to recognize the fact that this is who you are, all you are, and much more that you want to achieve. It shouldn't be caught. It shouldn't be capped under his own ambition. Just the sacrifice must be from both sides. The parents has to make conscious effort to train their girl child that you could be a general, you could be the president, at the same time, you can be a fantastic mother, and at the same time, you can be a wonderful wife. But don't let the society determine that you can't take the three together. The power of balance is what every person needs, not just the woman. Everybody needs the power of balancing to be able to balance the career with their social life, with their family life, to balance it. So the girl child, to find solution to that, that's one thing we have to do. We have to consciously educate them, consciously enlighten them, consciously mentor them. Because the more they see many women who are coming from the same background that they are coming from, and they see what they have achieved, they will be so encouraged. And they will go out there. Let us be so conscious of only the girl child in this sophisticated society. In the city, in the communities in the city, there are many girl child getting pregnant. Because they don't know better. They don't know there's a better way. They don't know that there's an option for them. They just thought that way they are going is the only option. I was told about 2 weeks ago that I was discussing with Tito, and about 2 weeks ago, one of the girls I was mentoring just told me about one of her friends in our street that is taking in the second pregnancy at the age of 30. Can you imagine? So I'm trying to now reach her, how we can come in, intervene, and see how she can get something more from life than what we. So there are many of them. That's the essential. There are so many of them in the communities. There are some that we are even walking past every day that we don't know. But we can now start doing like what we are doing here. We are setting up a girls' peace club in the schools. We are going to the community schools to set up girl peace club. So what we are trying to do with that is to mentor the girls right from secondary school, so that they can see that if we can do it, if we can work it, then they can do it. They can work it. So if they can align with us in thought and see that, okay, it's possible for these people to do, we are being as realistic as possible with them. We come down to their level. We let them see that we have made the same mistake, but we don't want you to make this mistake. So because we want you to be better. So we want to raise them so that they too, because one of them asked, what's the whole essence of what you want to do for us? And I said, okay, what we want to achieve is that you be like me, then you raise generations behind, you mentor. So if we can set that rippling effect and it can go on, then we will have made the world a better place. And more women will have been more equipped, more empowered, mentally, physically, and our world will become a better place. We believe. It's not that we are saying we can do it without the men. Do you understand? You don't see we can do it without them. We are saying with their support, we can achieve much more.